You wanna fight me? Playtime is over.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Flashback 64, the chronological Nintendo 64 podcast. I'm Gooey, joined as always by McKenna.
Hello.
And we've got a fun episode today because it's sort of a new experience for us in some ways. And we're talking about Bomberman 64 today. And it's a relatively new game or a completely new game for the both of us, so we've got another expert coming on. But with us today, we've got Aaron from the SuperPod Saga podcast. How's it going, buddy?
Pretty good, man. It's getting pretty late in the day. Got a little bit of a headache, but that's nothing a Red Bull won't fix. All good to go.
Oh yeah, that'll
Perfect.
sort you out. Yeah, for sure.
Talk some bombers, talk some men, some Bombermen, maybe.
I'm stoked. I'm glad that we could get you on here. Not too long after we were lucky to come on your show and talk about some Zelda.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming on.
No problem, dude. Yeah, I'm ready to talk about this game. No joke, I just beat this today. I kept putting it off for a while. There's another game I was playing for another podcast that I was on, and then I got to this, and then yeah.
Cool. That's still fresh. All right. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we kind of wrapped it up not too long ago, but we'll get into it because beat is kind of in quotation marks a little bit, I feel like.
Right.
Oh yeah. I think I know what you mean. Wink, wink. I think I know what you mean.
Hey, this is your first time on the show. We usually like to ask people like, what's your, just in general with the Nintendo 64, like what's your history with the console? What's your backstory?
So growing up, I grew up from a split household, I guess. So my parents split up when I was really, really young. At my dad's house, my stepbrother had an N64. It was in their kitchen, I think. It started off in the kitchen at my dad's house. And there we always played Super Smash Bros. And I was always Ness, I think. I was either Ness or Link, I forget. We also played a lot of Mario
Good
Kart
pick.
64. Yeah. Mario Kart 64 and Super Mario 64 also. And what was it called again? Perfect Dark. We played the crap out of the co-op for Perfect Dark.
It was one you mostly did. Do you think you did mostly like multiplayer with it and stuff?
Oh yeah, almost always with either my stepbrother or my cousins. I never had one at my mom's house where I played games like single player and stuff.
Okay. What were you more? What were you playing much like at your house? Or were you playing PlayStation or?
Yeah.
Were you gaming a lot?
Yeah, I had a NES and a PS1 at my mom's house, and that was where I fell in love with Final Fantasy and oh my gosh, I just had the name in my head. The Gauntlet series, like Gauntlet Legends, I think is the one that was on PS1. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because there was one. I know there was like one called like Dark Legacy or something. One of those is an N64 one, right?
Yeah, that sounds right. Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Yeah. Oh, Dark Legacy was PS2 and stuff. I don't remember which wrestling game we played a lot of, but we also played some wrestling game a lot. I remember Kevin Nash and Sting being in there.
It could be our next game we're covering next month, actually. But there was a few. There was at least two. No, there was like three, I think, WCW wrestling games. So it could have been any one of those. We'll go a little bit more into your history with this game specifically, but first, before we talk about the game, I always like to tell people what was going on at the time the game released. There's some conflicting information. The chart that I have been pulling from Wikipedia says something different than everything else, but we're just going to act like it came out November 27th, 1997, even though there's no way it came out that day, right? Because it was Thanksgiving. And we weren't doing like early Black Friday, right?
I don't know when that started.
I think that was like early 2000s when that like really got crazy. But I could I could be wrong. We're going to go with it, though. Thanksgiving 1997. And one thing I really wanted to talk about was the 1997 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Not really because I'm a huge fan, although I don't know. If it's on, I'm watching it. We've talked about it before on the show, but the reason it really stands out, though, was that year some people refer to as I believe the 1997 Great Balloon Massacre.
Fuck yeah.
Now, Eyewitness News.
Frightening moments during today's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Eyewitness News has the exclusive videotape. A giant balloon crashes into a streetlight. One woman is in critical condition.
There were some serious injuries from this, but everyone's okay. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that first. But that year in the parade, I think it was like 4 balloons. We were watching some of it. They were like really having a hard time with the balloons. They kept having to like cut to video, like pre-tape video.
The magic of videotape, as the host said.
Yeah, the magic of Al Roker was there saying there was like 37 mile per hour winds or something, and they were having a hard time. Yeah. And so like many had to be brought down, and some of the notable ones, Pink Panther was one, but a bit, yeah, R.I.P. But a big one was, well, first of all, there was the biggest one probably, like in terms of like aftermath, was the Cat in the Hat one. I guess. Yeah, there's actually on the Wikipedia page for this parade, there is an aftermath section. But no, the Cat in the Hat, a big problem was a lot of these were getting blown around, obviously, and they're hitting trees, but also the light posts. And that happened with the Cat in the Hat balloon. And a couple people were injured. One woman was put into a coma from this for a month.
Jesus.
Yes, but she came out of it, and she got paid. So, hopefully that's good for her. But then I guess a more lighthearted one was the Barney balloon getting destroyed. It also hit a light post, and Aaron, I don't know if you saw that video I sent you, but it's a really harrowing video to watch of the people trying to get a handle on this Barney balloon, as like the crowd is just like watching and they're like gasping, and it's like a horrifying scene.
I did read the whole Wikipedia bit about it, especially the part toward the end where it's like the image of the Barney balloon's destruction by police, knives, and boots. Its so-called murder has found enduring popularity through social media. That's wild.
Do yourself a favor and watch that video, because we watched it, and it is like watching a public execution or something.
He's just slowly being stabbed to death.
Yeah, like they start climbing on top of him and just like tearing him apart, and the crowd's like, there's mixes of like, and like, oh, and then there's other people who are like, yeah, and there's like kids who are like, oh my god.
No.
That was something I wanted to mention briefly, because I think it's come up a little bit before, but there was like this like Barney backlash in the 90s. I think we talked about it a little bit, like there was like Doom WADs you could play where you're like killing Barney instead of aliens or whatever.
Oh, God.
And I was wondering, like, Aaron, did you, I don't know, what's your story with Barney? Like, did you watch that as a kid? Did your parents think it was stupid? Like, what do you recall of that?
I'm sure my parents did think it was stupid. Literally every time I'm around my mom and we're watching like the shows that my 3-year-old watches, she's like, oh, anything's better than Barney, God forbid, because I apparently watched it a lot, and I had like Barney pajamas that I wore all the time. I loved Barney as a kid. I mean, watching it now as an adult, it's not that bad. It's better than like Teletubbies or some of that other frightening shit, but
yeah, there's something a little weird about Barney, but
yeah.
I can see what you're saying. It's like, it's not as bizarre.
Yeah.
It's more just annoying. I can see that. For me, my parents, like, I was always like, I think I was not allowed to watch it, but I'm not sure if it was like how serious. I was very young, so like I don't remember how serious they were about it, but I definitely, like, even at the time remember them being like, "Oh, we do not watch Barney here in this house."
Oh my God.
So, McKenna, you're pro or anti, or was Barney? I feel like Barney eventually kind of fizzled out.
Oh,
maybe.
Yeah, I like have vague memories of watching Barney. Like, I know I watched it, but I don't really remember much of it. I don't think my parents cared that I watched it.
They have a whole Roku channel dedicated to Barney now, so it's
Oh, hell
kind
yeah.
of bad. Yeah, all Barney, all 24/7, baby.
So you don't feel the need to be like, get your children into Barney,
No.
though, right?
No, I'm fine
Yeah.
with Bluey and like Daniel Tiger and stuff. I don't really want a whole lot of Barney in my house. Not that it's bad. Yeah, it's just annoying. Yeah, that's the best way to explain it.
It's annoying. It's maybe a little. I guess I haven't watched it. I was gonna say it's stupid.
The voices are pretty fucking
I don't know.
annoying. Super de duper, and then I don't know what the other voices are. Also, in that Wikipedia page, there's a photo on the right hand side where it's like the corner of 72nd Street and Central Park West, site of the near fatal lamppost collision. Holy shit!
There's a whole aftermath section of it where it's like, the great Mayor Rudy Giuliani came in and, like, much like he cleaned up crime, he cleaned up the balloon problem. But it did say they instituted like a weight and size limit for balloons, and like there was like, I think, physical requirements for people carrying the balloons, and as well as like, I think, like, mounting them to like a vehicle or something as well. Mm-hmm. So, which makes sense. But we watched a little bit of it, and you can tell like the balloon, the balloon arms race was getting out of hand, because there was a Rugrats balloon. Yeah, there's a Rugrats balloon, and they were like, this is the first 3-character balloon, and it was freaking Tommy Pickles and Chucky whatever riding the dog, and it was this massive balloon. And I was like, this is unsustainable. Like, this is like a ticking time bomb.
Ooh,
but that one made it through.
I found another gem. Well, I say gem like it's good, but I mean it's terrible. So, in the aftermath section of that Wikipedia page, thanks again Wikipedia. They're talking.
Shout out to Wikipedia. We're just gonna read the whole article.
It's got some good. Oh my god! So the same woman who was put into a coma by the balloon, after the aftermath, or I don't know. Anyway, anytime the parade or Thanksgiving was happening, it says the woman began traveling out of New York City each Thanksgiving. She gained attention in 2006 when
Fair.
a plane crashed into her apartment.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
She wasn't there though, thank God. The engine landed in her bedroom while she was out of the house. That's wild.
I'd imagine I don't know. That's scary. That's really
It's like-
scary.
Yeah.
It's like some Final Destination type shit. Like maybe this is gonna sound pretty morbid, but like maybe she was supposed to have, in the parade. And I don't know. No, you can cut that out. No, that's disgusting. That's awful.
Yeah.
Or keep it. I don't care. Whatever, man. It's your show.
Well, we'll put you. Yeah, this will be a test. We'll see
Okay.
how the crowd reacts. No, it's wild. I definitely recommend that video. It's called Thanksgiving '97, the day Barney was killed, and it is a harrowing video to watch, and I think you can watch it mostly guilt free. I think everyone came out okay on there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Except for
Sounds
Barney.
like
Except for Barney, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
It
Pour
really
one up,
is.
Marnie.
It really is the opposite now. Like, I feel like I hear more about kids show like Bluey or something. Like, you more hear like, actually, it's not so bad for the parents to watch.
Yeah, there's some good ones out there. Like, yeah, Bluey. My 3-year-old likes Daniel Tiger, and
Okay.
and like lots of YouTube stuff. But Barney's not so bad.
I feel like YouTube and stuff like that is more the area of where now people are like, what the hell are these kids watching? Like with the toilet stuff and like creepy videos or whatever.
Of course, every day is special when you spend it with people you love.
I don't know what I was doing in 97. I was being 6. That was cool. I was 6.
Okay, well, I want you then to think it back to being 6 years old, because we ask everyone right now about this. But at the time, the number one song on the charts, it's been 8 weeks that the number one song on the charts has been Candle in the Wind by Elton John, which is, of course, he, did this rendition about Princess Diana. So, what were you thinking at the time? What was your reaction? We ask hard-hitting questions here.
That's a very hard-hitting question. I don't know I don't know that song by the name, but I'm sure if I listened to it, I would probably know. That's a heavy-hitting song, though. Yeah, Rip Princess Diana. Die, we miss you so much. Pouring one out to you. But I don't remember that song at all. I was hoping the song question would go more into like grunge or something. I know, like, on this day in 1997, who's the guy from Alice in Chains? Lane Staley sang "Man in the Box" from Actually Inside a Box or something. Like, that would have been pretty cool.
Did he ever do that? Like, that could have been a television event, I feel like.
That would have been a cool, like, Houdini-esque, or like, I don't know if Chris Angel was around back then, but that'd be some, like, Chris Angel type shit.
I should have looked at the rock charts, maybe. We've been tracking Chumbawamba a little bit. Like, they've been doing okay with Tub Thumper. That's been our main... absolute banger, but not seeing a lot of grunge at this point. We've started to... you've started to see the seeds of new metal taking off, like every once in a while. Like not too long ago, Life is Peachy or whatever by Korn.
Oh my god, hell yeah!
That was big. So we're not to Freak on a Leash territory yet, but
damn it, 1997.
Fingers crossed.
Popular song. Also, I googled "man in a box," and it did not pull up any results. I'm sorry, listeners.
I do have a couple video games that came out in like the past couple days. Myth the Fallen Lords. Sorry, I was gonna say Lords of the Fallen. I read it backwards. Don't know that game actually. But then we've got Kirby's Dream Land 3 and Grand Theft Auto.
Hell yeah.
Kirby? You big Kirby guy.
Big Kirby guy. I just beat Kirby's Dream Land 3 like a month or so ago. Yeah, that was all right.
Yeah, we've been getting into Kirby ourselves. We like Kirby.
Kirby's good.
Yeah, we've played a couple.
Yeah. I really was so I'm gonna read something from him later, but we were also supposed to have Sean Douglas from the Kirby Conversations podcast on this episode. He had to bow out. We miss you, Sean, but we'll get him back on. But I really wanted to drop the Kirby tidbit to him and like, see what he said. But I'm gonna think about that for a long time now.
Yeah, we miss you, Sean. I'll pour one out for you too, man.
But I do have something from him to read later. That's a great story, but we'll save it for the game, which I guess we can get into now.
Bomberman 64 is an action-adventure game and the first 3D Bomberman game. You'll bomb your way through 4 worlds: Green Garden, Blue Resort, Red Mountain, and White Glacier, each with multiple stages where you either have to reach the end of the level or defeat a boss. Clearing these worlds will unlock a 5th world, the Black Fortress, and a secret final world, the Rainbow Palace, can be unlocked by defeating the final boss and collecting 100 gold cards. Using bombs will let you attack enemies and destroy obstacles to clear your path through the stages. You'll be able to place bombs, kick them or throw them, and pump them up to create larger explosions. You can also jump off of bombs that you've placed to reach higher platforms. There's also a multiplayer mode in which players can battle to remain the last one standing, or play on teams where the goal is to destroy the other team's gems.
I asked you on because when we were on your show, you mentioned, I think you said at some point you were a massive just Bomberman fan in general. So what's your history with the Bomberman series as a whole?
Ooh, so I've played many a Bomberman in my day. I think the first time I ever played, I remember the same stepbrother that we played the N64 at. He had the big old like original brick Game Boy, and he had, I forget if it was called Bomberman versus Wario or Wario versus Bomberman.
Oh,
he had.
I recently discovered that blew my mind that exists.
I know, it's so weird, and it's got the catchiest little main menu theme too. It'll just get stuck in your brain. So I played that, and then my cousins and I played a lot of. There's like 3 Super Bomberman games on the Super NES. I forget which one we played a lot of. We played that a lot at my cousin's house, and then there was like 2 more for the Xbox 360. My buddies and I would always stay up late and play Bomberman live. Like we would play online against each other and with other people online. And that was a great time too, because you could customize your little Bomberman dudes with different like a pirate costume with like a cowboy hat, and then with some spaceman boots or like a clown nose. So good. And then when you guys came on and we talked about Zelda, I was talking about how when the Switch came out, I was like, dude, I only want Bomberman. I don't want Zelda. I want Bomberman.
Zelda, what is this garbage?
Yeah, dude. I'm here for Bomberman. But since I've started digging around into like retro gaming and emulation and stuff, I've discovered that Saturn Bomberman is probably the best Bomberman version there is out there, because like there's Bomberman on probably like every system. I'm pretty sure they've got it on TurboGrafx 16.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
there's
dude.
a shitload of Bomberman games we discovered.
Yeah, all of like varying quality, but yeah, once you find like. There's some really, really good ones like the Saturn Bomberman, Bomberman Live. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this one though, because I have not touched this one or the second one or Bomberman Hero. I've only ever seen like gameplay and the bop and soundtrack to Bomberman Hero, but I've never touched them before. So I'm excited to spill my guts about this one.
Like for us, Bomberman. Well, you hadn't really played any Bomberman, right?
No.
I definitely, because as you just said, like Bomberman is just on a crapload of consoles and arcades and stuff like that, and I've definitely come across it and played it at the arcade or like on whatever, but it's never been a game series where I've like owned and really like played a lot of Bomberman. And so I don't know, it's exciting to like start to learn about it, because now it makes me want to go try all the ones that are supposedly good. But yeah, right, like which maybe we'll do some of that on the show even. But it was interesting to go into this one because apparently, we discovered it's nothing really like a lot of the other Bomberman games. It's quite unique.
There was in that like whole generation, like the 5th generation, the PS1, the N64, and the Saturn, there was a lot of different goofy things they did with Bomberman. Of course, and Bomberman 64, Hero being like a full-on 3D platformer. They had in Japan, they got Bomberman Wars, I think is what it was called. It's a strategy RPG with different like Bombermen of different characters and stuff. And that's awesome. It's so cool. And then PS1 got a Bomberman racing game where you ride on the little kangaroo dudes. I think they're called Joeys. That, or I'm getting them mixed up with another game, but there's like little kangaroo dudes you can get in different Bomberman games. So listeners, when you blow up like a block, sometimes you'll see an egg, and then you blow up the egg, and then a little like rabbit kangaroo guy jumps out, and you can ride on the kangaroo, and then it'll absorb an attack for you. Man,
whoa!
Stumbled over myself. I'm getting too excited about Bomberman.
Understandable, yeah. This is the first, I think, Hudson game on N64 that we've covered. But like, I feel like in that era, we've talked about a lot, like different series, like trying different things at that time, like as they're like trying to do 3D games and stuff like that. And I feel like Bomberman just like, it's crazy.
I think they were just maybe like in the with the whole 'cause they can only do so much, I suppose, with Bomberman on older systems. But with the 3D, like the 5th generation, they're probably just throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. And like maybe they might have had something with the turn-based strategy game. I don't know. I haven't gotten to play it yet because I think there is an English translation for that now. Yeah, I think they were just trying to see what felt good and what didn't, which is probably why they've never made another 3D Bomberman game. But I don't know. I feel like they could do more if they tried again. They just gave up.
I think it would be cool. Actually, I'm after playing this.
Yeah, dude.
I'm quite open to the idea of that. But so McKenna, with you have nothing going into it really of like, an idea of what Bomberman should really be like or whatever. So just as like completely fresh, completely new, like what did you think about the game?
It was fun. It was unique, pretty unique, or of stuff we've played so far.
Yeah. It's kind of more in our wheelhouse, and a lot of stuff we have played isn't really in our wheelhouse.
Yeah, it does feel more like something I would have like chosen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting like all the different things to do with bombs. I was like, all right, we're gonna go and we're gonna throw bombs at things. Yeah,
it's kind of crazy because the game is both like, if it is at face value, I feel like it's very simplistic. Even a lot of levels can be beaten in a snap, but then it's also like extremely complex with some of the stuff we discovered later with like the bombs and bomb jumping and stuff like that. Like, so it's it's surprising. The game is really surprising, but
yeah, it is.
Aaron, what did you think about it coming at it as like a fan of Bomberman as a whole?
Man, I went into this game expecting not a lot, because I've heard from like a lot of different reviews that Bomberman 64 was pretty mid, but it blew me away. I thought it was pretty fun. It reminds me, no joke, reminds me a lot of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker in quite a few ways. I don't know if you guys have played that, but
oh yeah,
it's got kind of the same little style to it. Like you just run around and explore and try to find where the heck you're supposed to go, solve cool little puzzles and such. Except for the volcano world. I hated the volcano world so much. Everything else was cool, except for the volcano world. That
might have been. That was our least favorite too, right? Like, what was it for you? I think we had different things. What did you not like about it as much?
There were multiple things. I think.
Yeah, it sucked.
Too much lava. And then those like enemies that were sort of in these stalagmites. Which one
that was it for me?
Were
they
like they come alive, then they'll spit fire or something? Was that?
Yeah.
We couldn't figure out how to like deal with them other than just like avoid them.
Yeah, I did the same thing too. I just avoided them.
With this game, I guess, like, is there? I assume that like a lot of the Bomberman games and series and stuff just kind of like do their own thing. Like, was this like as like a Bomberman, fan, like, is there like, because there's like a story and like a world in this game, did it like jive with like the lore of Bomberman, or does that not really, I assume that doesn't really matter that much, but
not a whole lot. It's this one.
Gotcha.
This one feels a lot more grand, like with the story and everything. Because previous Bomberman games, there wasn't a story. It would just be like, "Hey, you're in a maze. Bomb blocks, and then take out the other dudes. You did it. Whoopee! Stage 2. Do it again." And then pretty much run that around a million times. But yeah, Bomberman 64, as far as I know, was the first Bomberman game that really... Wait, did Saturn Bomberman come out before that? One moment, please. Saturn Bomberman has like cool anime cutscenes and also has a story. Oh, Saturn Bomberman came out in 96.
That's sick.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well,
we might have to do that sometime.
That's a good one. It's awesome.
It's a good, like, if we can get something like as a point of comparison, even though they're probably way different, I think it would be fun to compare and contrast, that sort of thing. But But I guess, yeah, with the gameplay, I like that comparison to Captain Toad, like,
Yeah.
because it does, even like the levels themselves, like the scale of them, they're like, it's like, I
Real
don't know, it
compact.
feels like,
Yeah. Instead of being open, like say Mario 64 or like Zelda, they're real compact. And God, the camera, holy shit, the camera just would not work with me ever. Yeah.
it was frustrating. I think it was cool how it worked, like, you can see like what they were going for with the style, and then like having it be in 3D, but like a grid based game still. And I like that sort of idea, but yeah, there were times where the camera, you just would throw it somewhere and it was like horrendous. and it was a struggle, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, it was like a mechanic to the game. Like they would hide things. You'd have to move the camera to see.
That's true. We had a couple times where we were like, what the hell are we supposed to do? And then we like hit the button to move the camera, like, oh, okay.
Yeah. There was that one part in the ice world where it moves the camera for you.
Oh, it's like trying to be a little, it's being cute, where like it goes
yeah, you get
under.
like the different view.
That sucked. That was I'm gonna be on. Did you guys play this on the actual N64, or did you emulate it?
We played it on N64, yeah.
Okay. God damn, my hats off to you. I emulated it on my laptop, and especially in the lava area, I had to use save states because I was just getting visibly pissed. I think it was the second level in the volcano world, one with the mine carts. I couldn't figure out where to go, and I would die.
Yeah.
And I would start all over, and the level's just really long and confusing, and I kept getting like, oh my god, I'm gonna punch a hole through my laptop if I can't. I don't know, yeah. But kudos to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because like that scale again, like it's both like very frustrating that you can like blow yourself up like pretty easily, like when you start the game for the first time and you're getting used to it, like, and onward, like I feel like I'm just constantly dying. But then like the flip side is like the levels are relatively, like, sometimes you like the times to beat them could be like 30 seconds
sometimes
if you know what you're doing.
Really quick.
So it had this weird thing of like, it felt like exploratory, like you're going around these levels and blowing up stuff, and there's secrets, of course, and like it's really a lot condensed into the levels, but then at the same time it's like you blink and they're gone. It's like really interesting the way this game is designed like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially to go for like did you Aaron, you didn't get like all the gold cards, or did you get all those?
No,
Okay.
I think is there 100 total? Do you know?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I believe so.
I think I got at least like 70. I'm pretty sure it said I got 70 something, so I got like close-ish.
Okay, because that's like the real thing that kind of blew like a lot of levels, like a big chunk of them is like getting those cards, but they're not required. So it's kind of interesting because you could kind of just like go by the whole levels. But it was so, maybe we're jumping too far to the end, but it kind of blew my mind, like when we beat the final boss and then we discovered like, oh, there's an extra special ending and like final area you can get, but you have to like do all this crazy stuff. And while we were watching the credits, they're showing clips of Bomberman pulling off all these crazy jumps and stuff, almost to be like, because the game doesn't really tell you about like the bomb jumping and stuff. I don't think there's really,
maybe in the manual.
I don't know. We read the manual and I feel like
I looked at the manual again today and I saw one reference to like stepping on a bomb, and it was like kind of, I think it was, you were like placing it to go across a gap. It was just like
Okay.
you place it and you can step over it to get across the gap.
Okay, so there is mention of it. Okay.
Yeah, but I would not have guessed that you could place a bomb and then place like 2 more bombs on top of
Like
it.
a bridge of bombs. Yeah.
Yeah, because now that you say that, I remember seeing that one at the end where it was like, I think it was in the first area. They kicked 1 bomb this way. Whoops! They kicked 1 bomb this way. Another one landed on top of that, and they were bouncing, and they just kept kind of doing that to the point where they would just like hop on one, hop on another, and then hop on like the 2 that are bouncing up and down, and that would get them even higher. That's insane. And I kept
wild.
reading about people doing what's called a bomb ladder, and that sounds really confusing.
Oh, yeah, I could not. I did one that I looked up. Not a ladder, though. I just did, like, 1 bomb jump that I looked up to, like, make the final level easier, but I could not conceive of pulling off the bomb ladder.
Yeah, I still don't understand how that's done.
That's what was so crazy about it, though, was, like, watching all the credits, and it's basically, like, it's showing you almost every level, and, like, hey, here's some, like, crazy stuff you could have done there. And then not only that, but, like, the ending, the, like, bad ending kind of implies, like, hey, there's more you could do. So it was weird. Like, you beat the game, and it's like, there's, like, a whole nother game within this game you just played that you can do. You know, it was like, I don't know. I know there's, like, games with, like, post-game content and stuff like that, or, like, you know, replayability, but this kind of blew my mind. It was almost like, hey, here's this secret play style you didn't even know about.
Speaking of that too, I remember. Let me find I took a picture of the flying dude. Like when you beat the game without getting all the gold cards, he kind of like he sounds pissed. Let me find him again.
He's an asshole. Yeah.
I must have I didn't take it at the right time, but I remember him saying like, "I'm disappointed, but you did good. Well done." Like I'm not upset at you, son. I'm just disappointed, basically.
He's seriously like, yeah, next time, like, try a little harder or something, right?
Oh,
yeah, I was like, what? We just beat the game. What's wrong with you?
Here it is.
He negs you.
He says, to be honest, I'm a little disappointed in you. I'll probably never see you again. Take care of yourself. Like, wow, fuck you, buddy. But
yeah, so there's like a story. There is like a little bit of a story here. I don't know. Like it was kind of just, it was cool. It was a nice like set dressing, but I couldn't really tell you again like what the names of the people were and what they wanted. I just know there were like bad guys.
yeah.
And then there was like the one guy who was a dick to you, but he was on your side apparently.
And I think the main bad guy was Altair or Altair. I kept thinking Altair because of Assassin's Creed, but
like Assassin's.
yeah. The sub bosses or mini bosses, I remember a couple of their names like Ice Killers and Hot Avenger, because those are going to be my wrestling nicknames. Those are really cool names.
That's good. There's like a twist in the story. I don't know if you know that. Like when you get the unlock that like extra area, the Rainbow Palace, right? By getting all the gold cards, it's like the twist is actually that your ally is actually the villain, and then you have to go fight him. But like, I think that's actually crazy though to like have a twist that you have to like you know, like do all this extra crazy collection and stuff to get. I think it's cool actually that it's like if you beat the game normally, or like what you think is normally, the guy will neg you, and then if you go through all the trouble to like get all the gold cards or whatever and beat the boss again, he will just turn on you. It's like,
for some of the gold cards, don't you have to like speed through some levels? Because I think there were a couple gold cards I got from beating levels pretty quickly.
Yeah, and like I think certain bosses, they'll have like if you attack certain parts of their body or whatever, you'll get gold cards. Yeah, there was a lot of like interest, and just some of the stuff is very obscure. And there was I was watching a video of someone getting all of them, and there's some levels where you're like, they were like spending like 15 minutes like making a bomb bridge to one block and then doing another weird bomb maneuver to hop across another couple blocks. And like, it seems like the most tedious.
Yeah.
Like I would probably never do it, to be honest. I don't think, but yeah, I appreciate it there for the real sickos, you know.
The real sickos, man. Yeah, I thought about it too, because like the first two levels especially were really fun. But the fifth world where you're going through that tunnel and there's like cars and buses and shit, I'd use save states for that too. And no, I'm not doing that again. I'm not gonna put myself through that all over again.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I loved it.
Maybe I think my first few attempts, I had the camera, so I was going through like left through the screen, and then you said it might work better if you change it so that you're basically going up. You're going like towards, you can see the cars coming.
Yeah. It's a little bit better.
Yeah, it is better. But there were times where I thought I was safe, and then I got hit by a car.
I did have that a couple times too, because there is that like weird like land between when you go to the next screen and like when the cars come out, that like sometimes you're like, okay, I'm safe, I'm going to the next part, and then like a car just destroys you.
And you can't really outrun them because they're going way faster than you. No matter, even if you try to like run to either side or like run ahead of it, no, you're no chance. You're dead, man.
You know what? I don't know what it is. I think, you know, I will say I had the experience of like seeing you figure out the route and slowly dying. So when I picked it up, I already kind of knew the route you had to run. So maybe I can't, you know.
I loosened up the pickle jar for you.
Exactly, yeah. So for me, I'm like, I don't know, it was fun. But yeah, I don't know, that was cool. It was Toad's Turnpike, the level.
Yeah.
Or I kept thinking it was Frogger too, because I think when you can run over, don't you end up flat? I don't remember if he ends up being flat or not.
I don't remember the animation on. I know you can like torch yourself or whatever, but
yeah,
I don't remember him flattening. Yeah, but it was like it was very Frogger for sure. I guess we could talk about the worlds. They were all unique. Like they all had a color code, and you know they all matched their vibe. It's I feel like very classic video game theming here, but I mean, I like that they're all unique and they kind of had like a unique gimmick. Maybe you mentioned the fire was more frustrating, but
yeah.
I mean, I guess it was cool. Like in some levels you'd have like raising or lowering the water level was one thing.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah, there were some other like unique gimmicks to certain levels. I'm trying to think.
On the ice level I was talking about, to get to the end, you have to like go down a icy hill, and you have to have enough momentum to like go up the other side. And land on a platform. And I liked that. I was like, oh, I wish I could do that more.
Yeah, like there should have been more challenges based on that.
Yeah,
that was cool. That was another one where it's like, okay, you could die there, but backtracking back to the area is not too bad.
Yeah.
There was one area in the fifth world. It was the second I guess puzzle stage or whatever in the fifth world where what is it? You step on one tile and it like sets off traps in the area, and there'll be like little laser beams and stuff, and the weird little tiles where like it'll be like green and red, and if you step on the red, then I totally guessed on where to go each and every time. Ended up speed running all the way through that level on accident. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, once they start introducing like the elevators and the warps, it made it a little bit
Yeah.
harder to keep. That was the one where I think I looked up like a bomb jump or something because there was something I was trying to avoid doing. Oh, it's those, you remember they have like the red platforms, or like they're like you step on them and you set off the alarms and stuff. Like that was really annoying to me. So I was like, what's the quickest way to beat this? And it was to do some bomb jumping, and I was like, all right, let's do that.
It's cool they give you the ability to do that too, just with bombs and shit. It's almost like Breath of the Wild, kind of, to where you can kind of
Sure, yeah.
conquer like almost any challenge with, I guess, your ingenuity and your wits. But with this, it's just bombs. It's just bombs. You stack bombs,
Yeah.
jump on bombs. Yeah.
And as we were like kind of describing them earlier, it feels like when you watch someone doing it, it's like it doesn't seem like you should be able to do this. Like it doesn't make. But then you see like the game itself shows you like doing that, and it's like, oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Like I can't think of any other games of that time that would show you stuff like that. Because I know like Super Mario 64. You can do all sorts of wonky, broken shit by flipping off this wall, jumping, doing a dive, do a barrel roll, stuff like that, over to like get this star much, much earlier than you should. But the game, yeah, never tells you or shows you how to do that. But it's just wild that Bomberman 64 of all games has all these cool broken mechanics that the game teaches you how to do, and yeah, it's so unique. It's so awesome.
Even the mechanics, I guess, just like the base mechanics that are like the less crazy ones. There's more to it than I really thought. Like I just kind of in general like the overall like gameplay of it. Like I love the little like mechanics of like how if you can drop a bomb and then you can hit it again to kick it, or you can drop it and like move around and kick it, or you can stop it, or you can like pull one out but be holding it and pump it up and toss it, and there's different strengths to the toss. Like it actually, like I think made good use of like putting it into 3D, and like I know some of those mechanics are in like kicking the bombs, I think is in some other Bomberman games and stuff, but I think it worked really well in this setting.
Yeah, man. Yeah, even like the holding a bomb, like picking it up, that's also another Bomberman's, and all the like fire and bomb pickups, which didn't really seem to do anything in this game. Well, I guess maybe like the bomb one lets you throw more bombs, but yeah.
Wait, yeah, what was it? Oh, you can drop more at once. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we couldn't figure out what the hell that one did.
Another cool thing that you could do with bombs was like when you're doing the little mini boss and it's against the people or whatever, and they're actually also dropping bombs. If they throw a bomb at you, you can throw a bomb at them to stop their bomb, and then it blows up. Or like, say you kick a bomb at them and it knocks them out and they're all dizzy, you can kick another bomb at them and it'll kick your first bomb closer to them and blow them up and do damage. That was dumb and cool.
I love those little encounters with just like the other little guys,
little
like
Bomberman people.
There were some of them we probably fought like way too many. Like some of them were like weirdly challenging, but then again, when we beat them, it was like you beat them in like 20 seconds because you only have to hit them like a few times.
Mm-hmm.
There was
they like pick you up and throw you.
Oh god, yeah.
There was, I think, the one on the second world. I kept accidentally throwing bombs at their head, and when you throw at their head, it's just like it makes the goofiest sounds, like whoop, and then it knocks them out, and then it like the bomb bounces off their head and lands behind them, and it's so wonky. I love it so much.
That makes me think of just in general, the game it's very cute. I think like it has a good vibe. I think it stands above, I think, some of the other games we've kind of played in our run. Like has like just the world and it's cute. The voice acting is sweet, but then also the music in this game is insane.
It's awesome.
It's so good.
It was Akifumi Tada who did Bomberman 64, actually. Honestly, though, if there's one thing that Bomberman games always, like, even if the game itself is pretty mid or even kind of bad, they always nail the soundtrack. Like, this game, Bomberman Hero, Saturn Bomberman, Neo Bomberman, they all have just really bitchin' soundtracks. Even like Super Bomberman R, the very first one that was exclusive to Switch for a little while, that had a really good soundtrack too. Always blows me away.
I would say this is probably, I don't know, like, what do you think soundtrack wise? I think it's probably one of the best ones we've covered.
Yeah, I agree.
Out of all of them, it sounds like the coolest. Like, you know what I mean? Like, some of them, there's nothing wrong with it, but you're like, Star Fox 64 is one of the best soundtracks I think we've covered. And it's sick to listen to, and you're like, hell yeah, this is like a Star Fox soundtrack. But some of these Bomberman tracks, I feel like you could just like be bumping and it'd be like, hell yeah, it's a party.
Oh my god. Just wait till you get to Bomberman Hero, dude. That's some real, like, it's like elevator music, but almost like rave, like elevator music you could rave to. It's wild.
It sounds very nice to me. Yeah, the vibe all around, top tier in this. Pretty close to the top tier, at least, I would say.
Yeah, I liked all their yells.
The
It
yells,
looked very, like,
yeah.
It was very Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
Like, I like a lot of the sounds that are in Nintendo 64 games.
Yeah. And too, like, I like the models of that time, like the low poly Bomberman is adorable.
He's all like tiny and short and pudgy, as opposed to being like taller as he is in other games. Yeah, he's adorable. I love Bomberman's little character design and model.
Yeah, I was looking at him in like the GameCube one. He was like all slender, and it was weird.
Yeah,
too slender for me.
Slender Bomberman.
But you know, I liked the designs were cool. The boss designs were really sweet, I thought. And the bosses, like the big bosses themselves were pretty fun too, because they were, again, they all had like their own unique ways of, I mean, I think I'm just describing what bosses should be good at, but they were all unique and like had a different setting, and like even it felt like a different gameplay style, you know, where like all the mini bosses were a bit more like similar, but the bosses were like, they reminded me a little bit of like what we like about maybe Zelda bosses, where it's like, you know, find the weak point, and I guess in this is throw your bomb at it, but you know,
Get the timing right.
Oh hell yeah! Especially for that dragon guy at the beginning, where you're on that bridge. For the life of me, I couldn't figure out what to do for the longest time, and then I was like, "Oh, wait for him to get close." Like, yeah, there's the dragon. There's
dragon.
What was the other one? Oh, the fish. The fish is really cool too. That one was awesome.
You're like on the raft.
Yeah.
It starts like destroying parts of the raft. And there's some water wave physics where it tries to push you off.
All of them were pretty cool, except for like the spider. I couldn't really figure out what to do for a while there. I kept throwing bombs and they would do nothing. And I had to look up a walkthrough, and it was like, oh, just run underneath it, then it'll get confused, and then throw a bomb underneath it. And it's like, I've been doing that. What are you talking about, man? But nope, you do indeed have to go underneath it first.
My biggest struggle with that one, and it's something you can do a lot in the game, was I'd throw the bomb, and it would like immediately bounce off of something and come and like knock me the hell out. When it's like, and you're like all stunned and stuff, and your bomb explodes. It's like, yeah, that happened to me a lot, where it's like I accidentally threw a bomb on my head.
Oh, the like I forget if it was. No, it was the mini boss for the fifth world. That robot thing that shoots out those little homing missiles and shit. Like, it has the homing missiles and like the little drones that shoot lasers in a circle. That boss can eat my butt. That was another one I had to use save states for, because that was just, it was nuts, man. I would get a bomb ready to throw at the big guy, and he would be like, haha, now I'm firing homing missiles, and then I couldn't. There's like, he shoots out what, 4 or 5, and there'd be one that I would make the dumbest turn and die, and I'd sit here and like rub my temples until I had no temples left, and then I'd just load a save state and then keep going.
You took care of that one.
Yeah.
How was it for you?
Yeah, it was challenging, but I think eventually I was just kind of running around, and I kicked all my bombs at him.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the strat for sure.
Yeah.
That was cool. The final boss was pretty, or I guess not the final boss, but the final boss, where how he had sort of like it's like a sentry thing following you and trying to shoot you. Like that was pretty cool. There was also like the one guy, the lava dude, right? He was like bongo type enemy with the arms and the.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
He's kind of frustrating, actually.
the hot Avenger, the robot guy.
yeah, your wrestling character, yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was pretty fun. I kept getting I don't know. I kept falling off the edge, which is stupid because the platform you're on is huge. I would keep thinking, oh, I'm gonna run away from the lasers this way, and I'd fall off the edge because I wouldn't be paying attention. But yeah, that was a really good fight.
I struggled to figure out how to dodge the lasers at first. I had looked it up and was like, oh, like it doesn't, like once I start seeing them charge up, I just start running, but it like tracks you, but you have to actually like stop for a second and it'll be like, I'm going to shoot you there, which, yeah. Okay. I didn't know that. It kind of frustrated me.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, same with, there was in that same level, well, not, in that level with the cars and the buses and stuff that can run you over, there's those turrets that can lock onto you and shoot you with guns. And I guess that Robo Boss also has like lock-on turret guns that can shoot you. That shit got way too close so many times. I would just barely outrun it. That was good.
Especially when you can only take one, sometimes 2 hits.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Discovering certain things, like I definitely discovered certain things by reading a game fact. I'm not ashamed to say, but it really is a game like even a lot of the basic mechanics. Thankfully, we went and read the manual because we were playing the first world, and like there was some of the like basic things you can do. I don't know if maybe a character tells you, but I was like struggling. Oh, I think I had to like pump up a bomb, and I had to kick a bomb at some point, and I was like, no one told me I could do this. But the manual lays it out, so we're in that era. So
same, man. I couldn't like when you get to the last crystal in the first area, then you have to use that pumped up bomb to open that teleporter thing. I couldn't figure out how to open it. I just gave up for a little bit. Yeah, I read a game fact. Did you read the one from like Marshmallow or whatever his name is on Game Facts? Because that was the first one that came up. And
yeah, the
that's
first
one
one
I read too. Thank you, Marshmallow, or whoever your name is.
We owe a lot to like people from like the year 2000 on our show, like when we're trying to get through, or some from 1997, but because some of the games we're playing do not have extensive game fact coverage, but there's always some hero out there for us.
Sub-hero.
But yeah, once I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, we normally read the manual, but we hadn't. So we went back and read it, and I think all around there's a couple frustrating things, and like there's a couple like points, like you said, use save states and stuff. I think all around the game is fairly approachable. It's fairly fair. It's like, again, it's both like extremely easy and extremely hard at the same time.
That's so true, dude. Like right after, I think if there's anything that I don't like about the game, for sure, like the camera got to be a pain in the ass at some parts because, again, the car level, if you go too far to the left or too far to the right, can't see a goddamn thing. And yeah, some of the gold cards are way too obscure to find. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Everything else, I had a great time, man. It was a awesome game. I didn't expect a whole lot from it, but it gave me a whole lot to love.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. It's like, there's definitely like flaws to it, but like, there's a lot to love about it that makes it so, like, so much more interesting than some, I think, more, like, less, like, there's other games we've played that have been like, we've had less frustrating moments, for example, but like, when I think back on the game, I'm like, yeah, it was it was whatever. But this, I was like, that was cool. It really stands out.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk a little bit about the multiplayer, but I also want to read, I think, Sean from Kirby Conversations, who was supposed to be on, did send me, because he played through the whole game and everything, and then he sent me his like reflection on the game, and it's really good. So I'm gonna read it here, and then we'll talk about some of the multiplayer. But I think he gets across a lot about the game that I like. Bomberman 64 was one of my first Nintendo 64 games, and still one of my favorites in the console's library. I have vivid memories of playing it in 3rd grade with my twin brother and our friends, competing in countless multiplayer matches, and I still prefer the game's more open 3D format compared to the standard grid-based layout of other Bomberman games. I must have been quite the Bomberman fan in general back then, because I also remember drawing a regular Bomberman comic strip throughout 4th grade. I would love if he had that.
That's awesome.
My brother and I were also quite committed to the main story mode, finding almost all the gold cards and unlocking the Rainbow Palace at the end. The varied environments and puzzles of each stage made the most of the new hardware and really showcased an evolution for the series. It's not an easy game either, so looking back on it now, we must have been pretty good to have gotten far as we did. No kidding. I still remember fighting Hades, the boss of Red Mountain, having this moment of seeing this massive red robot and wondering to myself, what if this was as far in the game as I got? What if I just couldn't beat it? Hades is a mid-game boss, and I don't think it actually ended up taking that long to beat him, but I think Bomberman 64 was my first memory of that type of boss we're all familiar with now, where you get a little further and further, and with each attempt learning the boss's patterns and weaknesses until what initially seemed impossible is all very doable. As much as we love the game, and for as far as we got in it, it was always a bit of a letdown that we were never quite able to beat it. You know, they were negged by the one guy. This is a spoiler, but the second to last stage of Rainbow Palace, Doom Castle, is a final test of the player's abilities to lay down bombs and bounce across them to access out-of-reach locations. It's a big puzzle that as a kid I was never able to crack. I still thought about the stage often though, and as an adult I remembered it as a sort of gaming white whale that got away. When Gooey asked me to be on this podcast, I thought this was it. I hadn't played Bomber 64 in years, but I would finally beat Doom Castle. It took a while, but sitting at the little CRT in my office, I finally beat the level and rolled credits on the game more than 25 years later. It was a great feeling. While I see that I looked up a small hint, it was just to check something about what the game does and doesn't allow with its admittedly kind of inconsistent physics engine. When I saw my brother later that day, I excitedly shared with him that I finally had beaten Doom Castle, and he knew exactly what I was talking about. So that's so sweet. That's so awesome. I'm sorry, Sean, that you couldn't make it and tell that story, but wow. We'll come up with more reasons to talk about this game, right, McKenna?
Yeah.
And we'll get him on here to get more reflections. He did mention the multiplayer. Aaron, it seems like you played this mostly the campaign mode. Do you have any experience with the multiplayer of this game?
Not on this game. Is it, I assume it's just like the maze stuff, like typical Bomberman stuff where you're just bombing blocks and stuff?
Sort of, but the stages are kind of unique. They're almost like, how would you describe them? They're all kind of like their own unique little diorama you're looking at.
Yeah, that's a good description. Yeah, you're just in this little space, and you and up to 4 people are just running around and bombing each other.
That aspect is like, the other Bomberman games. We're just trying to basically kill each other, by blowing them up. But yeah, the levels themselves, like there's one that's like it's almost like a step pyramid, And so it's like got a little relief at the bottom, and then it kind of builds up and goes around to like a middle point. Or there's one where it's like 2 hills that go down, and there's like a battlefield in the center. So yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, they each have their own unique sort of architecture. So they like, it reminds me of like picking a different stage in like Mario Kart 64. There's like a double-decker stage that, you know, there's like all sorts of stuff like that. And on the levels, like when they have time limits, well, what happens?
They'll like tell you when it's getting close to the end. They'll be like, hurry up, but they will hurry it along by either there's a couple levels where they have like meteors or some boulders crashing down on you.
It gets really chaotic.
There's a level where there's water and it just starts rising, so you'll drown.
Holy shit!
Yeah. Some of them they reuse like the water boulders, but yeah, there's like a handful of different things like that, and it actually makes it kind of, I don't know, I guess I don't know how that compares to the rest of the series, but it just, for me as a multiplayer game on N64 of what we've played so far, like it does provide something new, which I think we're always looking out for.
There's also the teams. You can play on teams,
which is unique in its own way too.
Yeah, where like each team has like 5 gems, and you have to destroy the other team's gems with bombs.
Yeah, so as opposed to like
cool.
defeating the other team, you have to like destroy their gems like 5 times or something.
And we learned you can pick up the gems, so we had some really chaotic battles.
Yeah, like you could play keep away basically, or you could pick up someone else's gem, but you can also, you know, try to like knock them down with a bomb.
You can like grab a gem away from someone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite, that was quite unique too. They need to add this to NSO so we could play online with our friends, because I feel like that'll send it to the next level.
Yeah,
your old pal Aaron. I'd absolutely play that show with you guys.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I think you would love this. It's like, I don't know how it compares. Like, I think Bomberman, you have like tactics of like, you know, like the maze and like the stuff that's blocking you. These, they're a lot more like open, or like there's more verticality. So it's probably different than what you're used to, but I think you would probably dig it still.
Yeah, it's cool that they mishmashed like new and old Bomberman in this game. It feels like you have the separate single player mode that is awesome. Then you have like the multiplayer mode where they added all this verticality, the cool like hurry up mechanics. In other Bomberman games, the hurry up is just like it'll start dropping blocks in like in different rows in the in the maze, and eventually it'll like close in on you, and then like it'll end in a draw. Everybody just gets smashed by blocks. But yeah, these stages, awesome. Like I see one that's like a pirate ship that looks really cool, man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to parsec this with somebody. This sounds awesome.
Yeah, I think you would dig it.
We there was one time where we just set all of them to CPU. just to watch. Yeah, and we set one team to the highest like intelligence and one the lowest, just to see how they did. And it got to a point where like both their gems are off in a corner, but no one was going for the gems. They're just all attacking each other.
They would respawn and immediately run to the middle of the map and just start bombing the shit out of each other. And there was no like.
It went to time limit, and because it was a draw, they started another.
It just starts over.
Oh my god.
We're like, okay, maybe this one they'll do it, and then nope, the gems got into the corner. So some of the CPU, some of the AI on that might not be all that great, but it did work well because we were playing 3-player, and we did some of the team stuff, and it was harder to win playing with the computer player, but you could do okay because you could pick up the gem and play keep away, and the computer player is like just programmed to like go attack people. So it's like, okay, hopefully he'll blow up the other gem. But I would love to, get on and play it with like our buddies online.
It was really satisfying if you were holding a gem and there was a bomb placed and you throw the gem at the bomb and it exploded.
Oh my god.
It just sounds mean, yeah.
Bomberman, Bomberman, mass destruction across the land. Makes a bomb any size, and he's yours to customize. Oh yeah, your very own Bomberman. Cross his path, you'll explode in the brand new adventure mode. Different levels to explore on Nintendo 64. Look out, it's the new Bomberman.
I want to let everyone know what our next game is, which we kind of hinted at already, but next month our game is WCW versus NWO World Tour, and I'm excited for that. I've already unlocked Diamond Dallas Page, so pretty pumped. Aaron, again, thank you so much. Is there anything, what do you want to promote?
Just go check out SuperPodNetwork.com. You can find my show, SuperPod Saga, there. You can find a bunch of other awesome shows on there, like the other one Jerry does, Super Ghost Radio. Bunch of cool stuff on there. We write blogs there all the time. I'm writing one up for Bomberman 64 because it just really blew me away with how different but like similar it was. And SuperPodNetwork.com. It's all there.
Awesome, yeah. Oh, Super Ghost. I'm going to insert this. Actually, I'm not. I'm just going to say it here, but you also, Mario Kart 64 style mechanic, when you die in the multiplayer, you come back as a ghost. And you can't drop bombs, but you can mess with the other players, like grab them and stuff, right? It was like you grab them or what?
Yeah, I think you like kick bombs.
You can get up in their business. It's very fun. So even when you die, it's there's still a lot going on. Good mechanic. But
that just reminded me of, I think it's Super Bomberman R, where like when you die, you'll go into like on each side of the maze, you'll just be in this little cannon and you can shoot another bomb in every like so often, like every few seconds you can shoot an extra bomb into the maze and try to mess up people. Yeah, that's one of the many ways they've shaken it up. Yeah, Bomberman is good. People, go play more Bomberman, please.
We got Switches. We should pick up the Super Bomberman R games. Seems like they're fun, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they have Bomberman is owned by Konami now, and they do in Super Bomberman R they have a lot of Konami mashups. Like you can play as they have a Pyramid Head costume, they have a Dracula costume, like a Simon Belmont costume, all sorts of costumes from like Metal Gear Solid, and I think Gradius, you can have like a Gradius costume. Okay. There's all sorts of cool shit, man. Yeah, you can probably get that game for cheap on eBay.
Well, cool. Aaron, thank you so much. This was a fun episode, and thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you for some wrestling next month.
Wrestling.
Later.
Bye.
And as always, we want to give a special shout out to our Millennium Star tier patrons. So thank you Cyberlink420, Darren Hupke, Infection Form, Jeremy Aber, Kiefer, Nico Sylvian, Paul Quaid, and Underlined V. Thank you so much, and you can find our Patreon over at patreon.com/flashback64.